Ghost of Yotei is here, and PlayStation very generously hooked me up with early access. So for the last week or so, I've been playing the game, and I have a lot of thoughts. I loved the first game after I fell in love with it when they released the director's cut with like 60 FPS support on the base PS5. And so when I got the opportunity to make this video playing Ghost of Yotei and sharing my thoughts, I was like, heck yeah, because I really, really loved the first game. And I'm so excited to see what they do to like improve on the formula in this game. And I've put a lot of hours into it, and I'm gonna share my thoughts with you in this video. Spoiler free, of course. Also, PlayStation is sponsoring this video, but as always, I made sure to get in writing that I'm allowed to say whatever I want, positive or negative, about the game. And they agreed, because I think they know that they have a really good game on their hands. So they're like, sure, try to find something to be upset about. And overall, I only have one note, one point of frustration with the game that I'm going to tell you about a little bit later. Other than that, like, I'm just thoroughly impressed by this. They really have done a tremendous job, and it's so impressive. I'm digging it. So buckle up. I'm going to share all of this with you. Thank you to PlayStation and Sucker Punch for sponsoring this video and making it possible, giving me early access to it. And with that said, let's get into it. I do want to clarify right up front that I'm only going to be showing you gameplay footage and areas from the first few hours of the game. So I'm not going to show you any late game stuff. I'm not going to show you stuff even past like the 5-hour mark because of spoilers, and that's what PlayStation requested. So I may talk about stuff that came up later in my playtime that reviewers may have mentioned, but I'm not going to show any of that for sake of spoilers, okay? The first thing I got to give them credit for is just the fidelity. I mean, seriously, in some ways, this is like a wallpaper generator built into a video game. Like, literally everywhere you look, you could just take a screen cap and it could be a wallpaper for your desktop. Like, it's absolutely crazy how beautiful the game is everywhere you look. It's the art direction paired with the technical execution. It's done so well. This was also a thing with Ghost of Tsushima, don't get me wrong, but they've done a great job here as well. And for me, it's the rolling hills and then like just the sheer distance and the scale of everything. Like, you want to climb that mountain, you can climb to the top of that mountain. You want to go over there to the other side of the field, you can do that. You can see I can even like highlight something, a mysterious tree. I better go look for that, mark it on the map, and then it's marked for me to go and find by swiping up there, and then the wind blows in that direction. All of those components from the first game are still present here. It's just that they took the dials of fidelity and scale and cranked them all up and then ripped them off. It's crazy impressive how they've managed to increase the FOV, increase the level of detail across the board, and they're able to hit steady frame rates in 2025. Can you imagine? It's crazy. And it has a PS5 Pro port that is very good. This right now is on the Ray Tracing Pro setting for graphics, which basically allows them to crank the fidelity, I'm getting accosted, and also aim for 60 FPS. They don't always lock at 60 on this mode, but it does allow you to crank it up, get the benefits of ray tracing while also getting a higher frame rate, which is kind of the point of having a pro console, you know? Okay, they're coming at me. Okay, I'll get off. I'll fight you. I mean, seriously, look at this. This is where we're having just an impromptu battle, just in this beautiful field. It's crazy. I don't have any arrows. We're doing this the good old-fashioned way, slashy slash. I will say you got to be careful, otherwise you'll just get distracted by how pretty everything looks. it's a problem. It's okay, I'm back. Let's do this. Come here. Oh, he's throwing stuff. That's cheating. Okay, I'm fine. Booyah, there it is. Like I said, I've been playing this for a week or so, and so not having all my little tricks and additional weapons is kind of an adjustment. It's a good problem to have, though. It's good to go back, be humbled. Come on. Okay, so the gold attacks can disarm you, and like literally you'll drop your sword. Here, I'll let him do it. Watch, see? So I dropped the katana, and now I have to go pick it up before I can fight back because I don't have any other weapons, which is a fun little dynamic. I appreciate that. Especially because later in the game, you can get a skill that allows you to disarm enemies. And so it's kind of like a fun, oh, I can do that too. What you got? Look at the weather too, dude. And then I ask him, For information. I'm guessing he's going to share a spoiler, so I'll skip this part. You're welcome. Okay, there he goes. He told me some stuff and then he ran away. He's just sprinting. Ah, you're lucky I don't have arrows. You're real lucky, I'll tell you what. Oh, you probably want to thank me and give me money, don't you?
You did it. They're dead. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You didn't have to help. You could have just kept walking
I am
by.
covered in blood. That's crazy. So the presentation, of course, is stellar. That's not going to surprise anybody. But how does it fare when we look at like the gameplay itself? What are you doing from moment to moment? Good question. I'm glad you asked. Just like Ghost of Tsushima, there is a broad overarching narrative here, but this time it is a revenge quest line where you are playing as Atsu, going after the Yotei 6, who are the people responsible for a very traumatic event in your life, we'll just say. I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together, but to be safe, I'm just not going to tell you specifics, okay? Okay, everybody good with that? Okay. And that overarching quest is going to take you to some key areas, like fortresses or enemy bases and things, where you'll need to clear them out, take out all of the guards, fight an end boss. Typical video game stuff, right? But where the game really excels and where I think the vast majority of most people's playtime is going to be is in the open world exploration. It's when you're riding through the fields and you see some weird looking bamboo on the side of a thicket of bamboo. Is that what you call a bunch of bamboo? I don't even know. And so you cut your way through and you look inside and you find a chest and you're like, oh, what's this? And then that kickstarts a side quest where you didn't even realize you were starting a side quest, but that gets you looking for who maybe put this chest here. Where did that come from? How did it start? And that's where these games excel. And then you're running around and you see a bird and the bird's leading you to some piece of treasure. If you played Ghost of Tsushima, you'll know that that happens all of the time. And so you follow the bird and you see where it's leading you. And after you get to where the bird was leading you, maybe you look off in the distance and you see a beautiful red tree that stands out on a cliffside. So you mark it with your telescope to make sure you can go there and find it. And as you explore further, you swipe up on the touchpad and the wind points you in that direction, since there is no overarching UI or compass or minimap or anything. That's where this game excels. That's what you're going to spend your time doing, is getting lost and discovering cool little things as you wander around. Now, one point where a lot of people felt there could be improvement after playing the first game, Ghost of Tsushima, was that the side activities never really felt really integrated into the main story or into the world itself. And that's something that they've done a lot of work on this time around, where they want to make sure that Atsu's interactions with NPCs don't feel totally isolated, that they feel at home within the world, and that they also have an impact on the broader storyline as well. So as I'm running around here, you can see I just found this guy. I didn't script this. I didn't mean to find this. I wish I could claim credit like that, but I just found this. Oh, and there's other guys coming in. Oh God, they're trying to ambush us. Okay, well, see, I couldn't have planned this even if I wanted to. It's a happy little accident. Sorry. Guy's arm went flying off. Booyah! How close that? And voila. All done. Much better. Oh wait, no, there's one more. I didn't, I'll be honest, I didn't see him.
Yotei 6 wants you dead.
So as you can see, he makes a reference to the Yotei 6. They're coming for me, looking for me. And so I can take him out and I ask for more information. And that's just something purely dynamic. I didn't know that was going to happen. It wasn't like it was marked on my map as a side quest. It just happened. And it's those moments that keep exploration really, really interesting and engaging, while you're just doing something else. And then like a little drop of ADHD comes in and distracts you with something unrelated that gets you going down a different path. It's that kind of spaghetti web of activity and different points of focus that I just absolutely love. And it's what keeps things interesting for me in an open world game. And they've done a really good job of it here, which I greatly, greatly appreciate. And you got to give them credit, dude. They somehow manage with every encounter to frame it in the most beautiful way. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous how pretty the game is everywhere you look. I know I said that already, but seriously, the art direction and the technical achievement of it too, while it's running well, is just so refreshing. It's not that common nowadays, honestly, but they've done a really, really good job with it. As I'm sure you know, I mean, the reviews went up last week and were glowing for the game. So it's no shock, but still it impresses me every time I see it. It's just gorgeous. There's also a lot of long-term upgrades and improvements. As you can see in this early save file, I don't have these charm slots unlocked or anything, but that's something you'll do over the course of the next handful of hours of the game. You'll unlock more of these. Of course, more armor and things can be unlocked. At this point in the game, I only have one. And then you can also change the version of it if you prefer the look of an earlier version after you've upgraded it a few times, which I also really, really like. Eventually you unlock loadouts, which is really, really useful for the late game because you'll have some armor sets that are all about defense and less about pure aggression and stealth. And then other times it's more about stealth, so you swap to that outfit. Again, all things that they learned and had in Ghost of Tsushima that they've just made better here. And there's also a lot of little quality of life things here. So like, for example, if I'm looking at my ranged weapon and I pull that up and I'm like, ooh, upgrade available. I tap triangle and it shows me the crafting materials needed and what I can do and the improvements it will have as I kind of navigate those. If I'm like, ooh, I want to craft that. Oh, but I have to go to Ron to do it. So how do I do that? Oh, normally you'd have to pull up your mini map, go find where that was, fast travel there and all that. They just put it all in the same menu. Hit square, triangle. I want to fast travel straight to that person that I need and boom, I'm there. Like it's absolutely crazy, dude. It's crazy. I mean, the fast travel was a point of praise in the first game as well, but here it's just as crazy. I mean, I'm here on this part of the map right here, and if I'm like, ooh, I want to fast travel down here to the coast, triangle, no cuts, no nothing, boom, I'm there. It's wild, dude. It's absolutely wild. It's just, it feels next generation in a lot of ways. It feels like, okay, this is what the SSDs are supposed to do. This is refreshing. Again, it's just refreshing to get a game that looks good, runs well, and seemingly, as far as I can tell, really takes advantage of the hardware. It's just really, really nice. Ooh, boom, you see the bird led me to a hot spring. How nice is that? Love that. Hot springs give you increased max health, so you always want to do it. I will say one thing I've noticed they've changed in Ghost of Yotei is it used to be that you could go to pretty much any precipice and you could, you know, look out and see pretty much any point of interest that you needed. Whereas in this game, they've done a much better job of hiding away some of the more valuable points of interest, like the hot springs, behind like cliffs and things, so you can't see them from a hill nearby or something. You have to go looking for them a little bit more. And I greatly appreciate that because it encourages me to still look and explore instead of spending the entire game like through a telescope looking at stuff. You still can do that and mark stuff of interest, like this pillar, which is going to have a skin for my katana, but when it comes to like actually looking for the really valuable spots like the hot springs, you actually do have to go and look for it yourself. So we've talked about the presentation and the gameplay through combat and open world exploration. It's all stellar, and they've managed to somehow improve on Ghost of Tsushima, which is pretty impressive considering Ghost of Tsushima was no slacker in its own right. But what of the narrative? Good question. So as I described, this is a revenge quest at its core. You, Atsu, are trying to find the people responsible for doing something pretty terrible to you and your family. That is the overarching goal for the game. That's what you're doing. And of course, there are plenty of speed bumps and detours along the way, but at its core, that is what you are doing. Just like in Ghost of Tsushima, when the goal was basically to repel the invaders and defend your homeland. Here, it's get revenge. And narratively, that's not a bad concept for a video game. I know it's gotten some flack because it's kind of a trope or it's something we've seen a lot before, but the reason you've seen it a lot before is because it's a concept that works and that people can understand and connect with relatively easily. But the one point of frustration that I have as somebody that really loved Ghost of Tsushima for its narrative and presentation and just the whole package, I feel like there's just a piece of complication or nuance missing in Ghost of Yotei that was present in Ghost of Tsushima that just isn't really here on the same level. Like with Ghost of Tsushima, one of my favorite things was this like duality of Jin Sakai trying to figure out if he should honor the traditions of his people and fight honorably, or if he should do what's necessary to save his people, even if that means fighting dishonorably by poisoning people or playing, you know, very stealthily and going through encounters, assassinating people without them even seeing him coming. And that was a really interesting like narrative wrinkle to everything you did. As you go through a camp, it's something Jin is thinking about, might even comment on. His family members and like the people around him are questioning his choices, and there's this disagreement and constant conflict in the story as to whether what Jin's doing is right. Like, yes, you won the war, but at what cost? And I thought that was such an interesting nuance that permeated throughout the entire game, and there just isn't really anything like that in Ghost of Yotei. It's a well-executed revenge story. It's well done, and the presentation's stellar. They do a lot of really good work with like flashbacks to introduce you to Atsu's family and to justify her desire for revenge and all of that. So they do about as good a job as you could possibly do in executing that revenge questline. But I just feel, as somebody that loved Ghost of Tsushima's storyline, that this isn't quite on that level, narratively speaking. In terms of gameplay, execution of the open world, everything else, top of the line, amazing. I just feel narratively, it's not quite on that level. And it's not even necessarily a criticism of Ghost of Yotei. It's more a point of high praise for Tsushima, because of just how fantastic that game's narrative was, both in the macro and the micro. But overall, I'll tell you what, I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with Ghost of Yotei. I'm actually continuing to do more work on my endgame save, trying to hunt down some additional like armor upgrades and things, because I just love the gameplay loop of the Ghost games. I guess now we can call them the Ghost games because it's a whole franchise. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And after a few days have passed after launch, I will happily share all of my extended thoughts on like the story and the nitty gritty stuff that gets more into spoiler territory in a separate dedicated video, of course. But as for right now, I can certainly recommend Ghost of Yotei. I've had a great time with it. And even if narratively it's not quite on the level of Ghost of Tsushima, I think in terms of gameplay, open world presentation, and everything else, it exceeds what Ghost of Tsushima did in a very impressive way. So 2 thumbs up for me. I am having a great time, and I am very happy to see how well the game seems to have done with the reviews. And after playing it myself, I can certainly understand it. It's very, very good. But with all of that said, thank you for watching. Let me know if you're going to be checking out Ghost of Yotei yourself now that the game is out when this video is going up. Let me know. I'm interested in hearing. And I also want to know if you guys would like to see me do that big deep dive, I guess, review or critique on the story and go into all of the nitty gritty details on what I think really, really works and what I think could use some improvement and how I would tweak it and change it. And of course, thank you to PlayStation for getting me access to the game early, for making this video possible, and for also being so chill and cool to let me critique it and talk about it openly like this in a sponsored video, which not a lot of companies are comfortable doing. I've turned down many offers for videos like this from companies that didn't want to let me say whatever I want to say. And I gotta hand it to them. It really shows how confident they are that they're flexible enough and willing to let me do that. So shout out to PlayStation and Sucker Punch. I can see why you were confident. I really can. It's very good. So anyway, let me know what you thought of the video. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Subscribe, like the video, blah, blah, blah. You've heard every YouTuber ever say it. But more than anything, just thank you for watching. Thank you for making my dreams a reality every single day. It's incredible that I get to do this for a living and never, ever think that I take it for granted. Me and my whole team, Jacob and Trevor, we appreciate you guys more than you could possibly know. And until next time, my friends, much love. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.